Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to add a big feature to the social network application, which is user notifications. We're going to put a badge in the nav bar that will alert the user of any unseen notifications, and we'll put these notifications for when the user likes their post, comments on it, or follows them. And to do this, we'll use some new parts of Django that we haven't used yet. This will be much more complicated than the previous videos, but it will add an important feature to this application. We will write a little more JavaScript as well to make all of this work. And with that said, let's get started with this project. So the very first thing we need to do is fix one small thing. So in our post detail at the bottom here, let's make this a little bigger. You'll see we put our JavaScript script tag here. We want to put this in our base. So we're just going to move this. Let's do a Control X and move this to our base.html inside of our landing application. So we'll go into landing, we'll go into templates, landing, base.html. Let's put this here right before the closing body tag. So right there. That way we can use this this tag anywhere we want. And let's go and just close off this tag. It's not, did I forget to bring that over as well? Let's double check that real quick. No, but there we go. So we have our script tag added there. And now we can get started with actually adding the notifications. So the first step will be to go into our social app and into our models.py. And so inside our models.py, we want to add a new class for a notification. And so every time we want to send a notification, we'll create an instance of this class, and this class will hold all of the data that we need for each notification. So at the bottom here, I'm going to add another class, and we'll call this one just notification. And we'll pass in models.model, just like a standard class. And now the fields we want here, we want a notification type. And this will be an integer, and it will either be a 1, a 2, or a 3. A 1 will mean a like, a 2 will be comment, and a 3 will be follow. This will just be a sort of code that we'll use to easily determine what type of notification and what to do with it. So I'll put a comment first, just to put this so we have this here so we don't forget. 1 equals like, 2 equals comment, and 3 equals follow. And now down here, I'll type notification underscore type equals models dot integer field. And below this, we want to also hold 2 user foreign keys. The first one will be the to user, which is who we're sending this notification to. And next will be a from user, which will be who it's being sent from. So to a to underscore user, this will equal models dot foreign key user and related name equals notification underscore 2. Then we'll add an on delete equals, or whoops, let's put this outside of the quotes. Put our on delete equals models dot cascade, just like normal. And we'll also add a null equals true in case we want this field blank for some reason. And then once again, we'll do the same thing, but for a from user. This will equal models dot foreign key user related name equals notification, and we'll change this to a from. Then we'll do an on delete equals models dot cascade. And then once again, we'll do a null equals true. And now below this, we want to hold 2 more fields, and they'll be either a post or a comment. We'll have 2 separate fields, one for a post and one for a comment. And so if this notification is for a post, we'll fill this post field. And if it's for a comment, we'll fill a comment field instead. And this will just be a way to link this notification to a specific post or comment. So we'll do a post equals models dot foreign key. Once again, this will be a user model or user object that we'll store in this field, and a related name, or no, foreign key, and this time we'll store a post for our post field. We'll do an on delete equals models dot cascade. Do a related name equals, and in quotes we'll put just a plus to remove the reverse mapping. And so in this case, we don't want to be able to access the notification from the post model. We don't really need to do that for any reason. And so we can just go ahead and remove this mapping here since we don't need it. And then we'll add a blank equals true and a null equals true. Because this will be blank if we're on a comment or if it's a follow notification. So you want to be able to have this empty as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and just copy this line here because we're going to have almost the exact same thing for a comment. And so if we're on a comment instead of a post, we'll store a comment value inside this comment field right here. So I'll change this post here to comment, and I'll change the name of this variable to comment as well. And now below that, we have two more fields we need to add. We need to add a date to get the date of when this notification was sent. So date equals models.datetime field and a default equaling time zone dot now. And so you'll see up here at the top here, we imported time zone already from earlier. We use that somewhere else, probably on our post itself. Yeah, right here. So once again, we're just going to default this field to the current time when it's created. So whenever we create it is when we're going to send it. So we can default this field to whenever it is that we created this notification. And now finally, we want to put one more field, which is user has underscore seen. And this will be a models.boolean field. And this will default to false for this field. And this one will just be a true or false value that will be set if the user has already seen this notification. And by seen, what we're going to do is if they click on the notification, this will be set to true. And so this will no longer show up as a new notification for them. We'll remove it from the new notifications list. That's how we'll handle getting rid of notifications by default. By just, if they click on it, then they've seen it and we can remove it from the list. And this value will set that. Okay, and that is it for our comment or our notifications model. So let's go ahead and save that and make sure to go ahead and migrate the changes. So already in the directory with my manage.py file. So I'll type Python 3 manage.py make migrations. Oh, I forgot to activate my virtual environment. So we'll do a source env/bin/activate. And then we'll do the same thing, make migrations. And then we'll go ahead and migrate those changes as well. There we go. And with those changes done, we should be able to run our application. Let's go ahead and just run it real quick. Make sure everything's still working fine. So Python 3 manage.py run server. Okay, perfect. So now what we want to do now is we want to add this notification model to our admin.py file so we can create some test notifications in the admin page. So here in the admin page, you want to add it here so we can actually add some test ones for this to get this thing set up. So let's jump back into our text editor, or Sublime Text, and let's go ahead and go to our social app and to our admin.py file. And first, let's go ahead and import notification. And then down here at the bottom, we'll add another line, admin.site.register notification. We'll save that. And now let's go ahead and create a couple test ones. So we reload the page here. There it is. Come in here. We'll create a notification. We'll set the type first to 1. We'll find admin, and the from will be just test user, I guess. We'll do we'll add a post object to this, and we'll save that one. Let's create 2 more. Let's create a 2, and this will be admin from test 4. We'll put a comment on this one. And we'll go ahead and save that. And we'll create 1 more, and we'll set this to 3, which will be if they followed this user. So let's pretend that we'll say test 2 followed admin, and we'll leave both these blank because this is a follow, and we don't need it's not connected to a post or a comment. Okay, with those 3 added, we have something we can work with. So let's go back into our text editor here. And our next step here will be to actually show these. So actually, if you go back to our app here, view site, up here by this drop down right here, I want to put a button that we can click and have a drop down here that shows all the notifications. But to do this, this is a little more difficult than what normally would be because we're in our nav bar, which is not a view. It's just some HTML that is on every page. And so the way that I decided to go around this would be to add a custom tag, a custom template tag. So we used some other tags before. We've used like Christie Forms tags and whatever else. We load those in. So now we're going to actually create our own tag. And to do this, we just got to create a couple files. So inside of our landing app, because that's where our navbar is, we're going to create a new folder. Actually, go up here to the root of the app, create a new folder, and we'll call this template tags, just like that. And then inside here, we'll create a new file, and we'll save this as _init _.py. This will be empty, but we need to have this file here for this to work. So now with that added, we'll go ahead and create a new file, and we'll save this one. And this will be whatever we want to call our file that will hold our custom tags. So I'm just going to call it custom_tags.py. So this init file will be empty, but in our custom tags.py file, this is where we'll actually put all the code to make our custom tag or a custom template tag here. So first, let's import a few things. Well, from Django, we'll import template, which we'll use here in a second, as well as from social.models, import our new notification model that we just made. And now below this, there's a little bit of code we have to write, and just one line to set this up. So we'll do register equals template.library, and we just need this here for this to work. And now we can use the register decorator to actually create a tag. So if you went to the Django documentation on custom tags, we open that up real quick. You'll see there's lots of different types you can do. You can write custom filters. You can create these other simple tags. You also create these inclusion tags, which is what we're going to do here. So you can read up here what it really is, but all it's doing is it's displaying data by rendering another template within a template. So we'll use our tag to pretty much insert new code that will run inside of another template. And the reason why we're doing this is because this navbar here doesn't have a view, and so there's no way for us to handle any logic with like filtering data and grabbing data from the database that we need to do. And so by using a template tag, we can handle that logic within our custom template and just put that code within our template to actually run it on our navbar. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, hopefully we'll once we create this. If not, I'll link this in the description so you can read up on these tags, how they work, and we're just adding this inclusion tag to it. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and start writing this custom template tag. And so what I'm going to do here is first add a decorator. So I'll do an @ and register dot inclusion tag, because that's the type of tag we want to use. And then inside of parentheses here, I need to pass in two things. First, I need to pass in the route, the location of the template, I guess. So we're going to have to create a new template that will hold all of the actual HTML for this tag. And so we're going to put that in our social app. So we'll type social / and we'll create a file called show notifications.html. And then I'll pass in takes _ content equals true. And this, or not content, context, takes context equals true. And this allows us to pass some context into our template. And now below this, we need to create a function. So we'll do a def show notifications, and this will hold all of the logic for the actual template. Make sure we pass in context into our parameters there, though. And so now we need to do two things. First, when you get our current user has logged in, so we can grab that specific user's notifications. And to get the current user, we can set a variable equals request _ user equals. We can use our context that we passed in. And inside our context dictionary here, we'll have an object called request, or an entry called request. And in that request, we'll have a property of user on it. And that will return the current logged in user into this variable. Next, we can grab all the notifications for this user. So we can do notifications equals notification dot objects dot filter. And inside here, we'll pass in the to user equals request _ user. So this to user will be who's receiving the notification. So in this case, we want to grab all the notifications that this current user is the receiving user for. And then we can go ahead and do .exclude. And we can pass that in here. We want to leave out. In this case, we want to leave out any notification that the user has already seen. And we have that user has seen Boolean value to check for this. So we can put user underscore has underscore seen equals true, the check for that. And this will only return the notifications that are not seen where this value is false. And then finally, we can do an order by just to return the newest first by doing it in quotes here, minus date. And now with those two things done, the last thing we do for this is just return and curly braces here, we'll pass in notifications and then colon notifications. And we'll save that. And that's it for our custom template. Hopefully that makes sense. All we're doing is adding some extra logic here to be able to grab the current notifications and pass it into our template. Now with that done, let's go and actually insert this somewhere. And in this case, we're going to put it into our nav bar. We're going to go down below the drop down here. It's going to go right below that. So right here, this is our nav item drop down. Right below this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new div, a class equaling nav-item. And then inside of this nav item class here, we'll do curly braces, 2% signs, and this will be show notifications. And now up at the top here, though, we need to import our custom tags here. So I'll come up here, I'll put 2 curly braces, 2% signs, and we'll do load custom tags and save that. Now let's go back to our browser and make sure everything's still working. It looks like we're getting an error. Custom tags not a registered library. Oh, you know what? I'm about to stop my server and rerun it too. When you add new tags, usually you have to restart the server. Let's try this real quick. Yes. Okay, so that fixed the issue. Now all we have is to add our actual show notifications file itself. So let's go ahead and add that file now. So we'll come into, and you'll see in our custom tags file here, we put it in the social app. So we need to make sure we add it in the social app. So let's go down to our social app into our templates here. We'll create a new file. And we'll save this as show notifications.html. And down here, we can handle all of that, handle actually showing the notifications. So first thing you want to do is you want to add a drop down itself. So I'm going to go ahead and create, and also before I do this, I'm going to create a custom drop down. I'm not going to use bootstraps. You could if you wanted to, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just make my own. So I'm going to create a div, a class equaling drop down. Inside the drop down class, I'm going to use a span, create a span, and this will hold a class equaling to badge, and this is bootstrap 5 and bg-primary. Now let's give us a little badge icon. And then also give it a notification-badge class as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and add an onClick, which we will add here in a second to make this work. And now inside of this badge here, I'm going to go ahead and just list out the length of the amount of notifications that there are. And so in our context here, you pass in notifications, which is equal to this. So we can access this in our template now. And in this case, I can type notifications.count to get a number of objects that there is in there. Now below this, let's go ahead and add some more HTML here. We'll do a div, a class equaling to drop down dash content, d-none to hide this by default, and an ID equaling notification, and we'll do got container. And now inside of this div here, we need to go ahead and loop through all the notifications. So we'll go ahead and just do a for loop for notification in notifications. And now we have this notification variable to access each one. First, we want to check if there's a post object on this. If there is, then we know we're dealing with a post notification. So we'll do if notification.post. And then we'll go ahead and add another if statement here, which will be if notification.notification underscore type is equal to 1. And in this case, if it is equal to 1, then we have a post notification that is also a like notification. I'm gonna go and just indent these to make this a little more clear what we're doing here. So we're just checking if there's notification.post object. If it is, then we have a post notification. And if it's equal to 1, then we know that the user liked a post. So now we can go ahead and create a div, a class equaling drop down dash item dash parent. And then inside this div here, we're going to go ahead and create a link with an href equaling, for now, just a £, until we add the URLs for this. But we want to put inside of this h tag, this a tag here, at, and then 2 curly braces, notification dot from underscore user. So the user that sent this notification, and put liked your posts. And then below this, we're also going to add a span tag, and this will be to hold a just like an X button that we can use to delete this notification as well, which we'll add that functionality in a little later as well. So let's go ahead and just add a class here of drop down dash item dash close. For now, we'll just put an and times here, and this is just, will just give us an X and times, and we'll close off the span. Let's go and close off this div, and that is all we need for this. Now, the rest of these are going to look very similar, so I'm going to go ahead and just copy these to do that. But first, we need to add another if statement. So now, after this div here, we can check, okay, it wasn't a 1, well, what if it was a 2? So elif notification dot notification underscore type is equal to 2. Then we know that we have a comment notification, a post comment notification. And so I'm going to go ahead and just copy this for now. And then we'll change this liked to commented on your post. And then now below this, we can go ahead and end this if statement because we checked both types of post notifications. So that's all we'll need here. Do an end if. And now we do the same thing for comment. So we'll do another if statement, if notification dot comment. So if there is a comment object on this, then we know we have a comment notification. Then we can, once again, we can check the two same things again. Actually, I'll just copy this. It's be exactly the same. Just if this notification has a type of 1, then we know they liked this comment. And this actually here will be, let's change this to an elif. So we check if this is true. If not, then try this. And then inside of here, we'll have something similar just like this. So we'll just copy this, paste that in there, and we'll change this to liked your comments. And now below this, we'll do the same thing here. So elif notification type. Let's go and just copy this, paste this here. So if this is a 2, then we know they replied to the comment by adding their comment. So we can go ahead and copy this, paste this, and we'll change this to replied to your comment. And we can go ahead and end this if statement right here. So we'll do just do curly braces end if, and then down here we can do an else. So if there's not a post object on there and there's not a comment object on there, then it must have followed the user. It must be a follow notification instead. So we can go ahead and inside this else statement here, we can put the logic for that, which will be very similar. Again, I'm going to go and just copy this, paste this right here, and then this will be followed you. Followed you. I just put has started following you. Has started following you. And then below this, we can go ahead and close off. We need to close off at least one if statement right here. So we'll do end if. I also need to close off the for loop as well. So we'll do curly braces end for. Now outside of this for loop here, let's go ahead and close off our divs like that. Okay, now with that done, let's go ahead and come back here, reload the page. And there we go. We have right now a little badge here, and you'll see that we have 3 comments, which is, we created 3, so that's correct. And you can't see anything yet because we went ahead and hid it by default. So we come back into our text editor here. We went to our up here at the top here, we have this drop down content. We take away this for now and save that. Come back here and reload the page here. You'll see them all show up right here with an X by them. So it's all working like it should be. We need to go ahead though and add some styles and make this look better, as well as make this button here toggle it on and off. But right now everything's working great. Let's go ahead and put that back on though, that D-none, so we have that for now. Let's go ahead and add some styles to make this look better. So inside of our style.css file here, we can add some stuff here. So first thing you want to do is you want to add some hover effects for our notification badge. So when you hover over it, we want to give the user some sort of like idea that they can interact with it. So we'll do a dot notification dash badge, and on this here we'll just set a transition of 0.3 seconds, just so after we finish hovering we can kind of transition back to its normal state. We'll add a notification dash badge and then hover to add some hover effects. And in here we'll change the cursor to a pointer. We'll change the opacity to 0.75, and we will set a transition here as well of 0.3 seconds. We'll set a drop-down class as well, which we added to our HTML already. Inside here, we'll set a position of relative, and we'll set a display of inline dash block. Go ahead and scroll up here so you can see this a little better. Next, we'll go ahead and add a drop-down dash content, and this will be the actual content of the dropdown. So we want to position a relative, so we can position it where we want. And we'll set a background color to F1, F1, and then we want to set a minimum width of, we'll do 300 pixels. You can change this to fit it how you want, but for me, I think 300 is fine. We'll add a box shadow of 0px, 8px, 8px, 0px, and a color RGBA. We'll set to 0, 0, 0 with an opacity or an alpha value of 0.2. And then we'll set the Z index of 1 to bring it up to the top. And then we'll set a font size of 0.9 rem to make it a little bit smaller than it is currently. Okay, and now below that, we need to add some styles to the link within our drop-down content. So we do a drop-down dash content space A to get the link, the anchor tag within the drop-down content. We set a color of black, and we can set some, here we can set a color, we'll set just to black, so 000, and we'll set some padding to 12px and 16px. Next, we'll add a text decoration of none to get rid of the normal underline you have on a link, and we'll add a display of block here. And now we'll add some hover effects to this drop-down content. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this so I don't have to type it all out again. And we'll change this A here, and we'll put a hover. And let's go ahead and get rid of all this here and just set a background color. We'll just set it equal to DDD to make it a light gray. And that is it. Now we need to go down and add some styles for the parent. The drop-down parent, so we'll do a the drop-down item parent. So the drop-down item dash parent, a position of relative, and a display of block. Drop-down dash item dash close to add some styles to the close button, and this will set a position of absolute. We'll set a top value of 0 and a right value of 0 to put it in the top right corner. And then we'll set a font size on this to be 1.8 rem. And then we'll set a padding dash right to be 5px to give it a little bit of space. And then we'll add a transition on this as well to 0.3 seconds. And now we want to do the same thing here. We want to add some hover effects. So I'm going to copy this. Just avoid typing again. And then on the top here, I'll put :hover. And we'll delete all this stuff here in the middle. And we'll add a color. So we hover over it. We want it to turn red. So we do RGB value. And we'll set this to 180, 25, 25. We'll set a transition of 0.3 seconds again. And we'll set a cursor, the pointer, to give them some sort of information that they can click on this. And we'll save that. Now let's go ahead and jump back into our show notifications. Let's remove this d-none class, save that. Let's see what this looks like. Reload the page. And there we go. So everything here is looking good. We have our notifications up here. They're all going one by one. And the button next to it turns red once we go next to it. Looks like this one's a little close though to that button. So let's go ahead and just increase our size a little bit. So inside of our style CSS, we put a minimum width here of 300. Let's go, where is that at? Right here. Let's go 325 instead. Maybe we need to go a little bigger on that. There we go. So 350 looks like it did it and it gave us a little more space there. And you'll see next to all these, we have a red X, and we can have another link here that will go to the actual post or comment or whatever, or profile in this first case up here. Now let's go ahead and actually make this thing right here, either hide or unhide this list here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that d-none class back to hide this. Now we know we have this good and working. And I'm going to add some JavaScript to toggle this on or off. So back inside our text editor, go back to our show notifications. We'll add back in that d-none class right there. Okay. And now let's go ahead and create some JavaScript. So inside of our JS folder, we'll have a social.js. Let's go and add a new function here. So we'll create a function and we'll call it show notification. And inside of this function here, we'll create a const container, and this variable will hold the actual notification container. So we'll set document.get element by ID notification dash container, which is, if you look inside of our show notifications, we set this ID here, notification.container. So this is the same div that has this d-none. So now we can access this and either take it away or add it back on. This is just like we did for our comment toggle earlier. So now back in our social.js, we have our container here. Let's go ahead and just do an if statement. So if container.classList.contains, and we'll pass in quotes d-none. And we'll do container.classList.remove d-none. So if it does contain this, we want to go ahead and remove it. If it doesn't, if it currently does not contain that, then we want to go ahead and add it back. So all we're doing is just switching the current state of it, just to toggle it on or off. So now we'll go ahead and just do a container.classList.add d-none. Add our semicolon there and a semicolon there. Let's save that. So there we go. That just go ahead and toggles it. It's just like this up here, this comment reply toggle that we wrote a while ago. Now with that done, let's go ahead and add an event listener onto our button or our badge here. So back inside of our show notifications, up here at the top here, we have a span. And on the span here, we'll add an on click. So when the user clicks this, we want to do, we want to run that function. So, and then in quotes here, we'll type show notifications, and then our empty parentheses right there. Save that, and now that should toggle on and off. Let's go and give that a shot. It's like it's not working yet. Show notifications is not defined. Oh, I call it show notification. Let's put an S in the end there, and that will come back here. Page here, status again. And there we go. There is one issue though. It looks like it's putting it in the wrong spot. It's putting it above everything, which is not what we want. So let's go and fix that real quick. Oh, you know what? I just completely messed up this. This position should say absolute here. Let's go back and try this again. Let's go and get rid of this. Get rid of this page. And there we go. Now we can go ahead and add and remove it or show or hide it just by clicking on this button. Perfect. And now that we have this working here, next step we want to do is we want to go ahead and when we click on this, we want to go to a notification view that will mark this notification as seen and then redirect us back to wherever this is pointing to. And so let's go and add a view class for that now. So I'll open up my text editor here. I'll jump into my social views.py. So I'll find that down here and I'll scroll down here to the bottom. And let's add something here. So let's go ahead and add, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a class here. We'll call it post notification. And this will handle any post notification that we have. So I might pass our generate view class, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a get method. So def get, pass in self, pass in request, pass in notification underscore pk, object.pk underscore pk, star args, and star quarks. So we're passing in here is the actual notification PK, as well as the object that it's pointing to, whether that's a post or a comment that will go here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab both the notification and the post, and the object.pk. And this object.pk will be the post. So I'll go just name this post just for clarity. And so now we can go ahead and grab both the notification and the post using these primary keys. So I'm going to go ahead and type notification equals notification dot objects dot get pk equals notification underscore pk. Post equals post dot objects dot get pk equals post underscore pk. Now let's go ahead and mark this notification as seen. So if they click on it, we can go ahead and mark it as that the user has seen it. So we'll take our notification object dot user underscore has underscore seen equals true. And then we need to go ahead and save that. So we type notification dot save to save that change to the database. And finally, we can go ahead and redirect to the post that we have here. So whatever's saved here, we're going to go ahead and redirect to that. So I'll type return redirect, and we'll pass in post detail, which is the name or URL that'll take us to the detail of the post, or to the detailed version of the post. And we'll pass in pk equals post underscore pk. Now let's go ahead and create one more class, and this one will be for our follow notification. So type a class, call it follow notification, pass our generate view class, and this will have another get method, and it'll be very similar. I'm going to go ahead and actually just copy all of this just as a starting point because it's going to be almost the same. There's a couple small differences. Instead of a post, we want a profile. So this will be profile. This will be user profile. And instead of redirecting to the post, we want to redirect to the profile. And I'm also going to change in the parameters here from post PK to profile underscore PK, which means I got to change it here as well as down here, just for clarity that we're not getting a post, we're getting a profile instead. There we go. And those are our two views. Now let's go ahead and create two URL patterns for both of these views. So instead of our urls.py, I'll put this, I'll just put it here at the bottom, I guess. Doesn't really matter where you put it. We'll put a path here. And this will go to, we'll say notification / int : notification underscore pk / post / int : post underscore pk. And then we need to go ahead and import both of our views. So I'd do that. Yeah, let's do it now before we forget. So we'll do post notification as well as follow notification. And now we can go ahead and use that post notification view right here. So type post notification dot as underscore view, like we do for all class-based views. And then we'll go ahead and give it a name equaling post notification. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. And I'm going to use this down here. And now instead of getting a post, we're going to get a profile. And now instead of post PK, it'll be profile PK. Now instead of post notification, we'll do a follow notification. And we'll change this name here to follow notification. There we go. And now with that done, let's go ahead and link this up inside of our HTML. So back in our show notifications, on each of these links here, we want to send it to that view that we're on. So in this case, for these post ones, we want to go to the post notification. And for these comment ones, we also want to go to the post notification because we'll send it to a post once they're done anyway. And then for this last one here, this will go to a follow notification. So we'll start here at the top. For this first post notification, we'll pass in 2 curly braces, 2 %, and we'll pass in URL, post-notification. And we need to pass in 2 things. First, the notification PK, and then the post PK. So type notification.pk, and we can get the post PK by saying notification.post.pk, and that's it for that. I'm going to go ahead and copy this because this will be very similar. It actually will be the same for a lot of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just come down here and paste this one right here. It'll be exactly the same. And down here, this will be very similar, except instead of the post, or no, this will be exactly the same as well. Yeah, these are all going to be the same. So these 4 will be the same. So I'm going to just copy this in here as well. And then finally, for this last one, we'll change it from a post to a profile. So we called our view, or our URL, we called it follow notification. So this will be follow-notification. And this notification PK, notification dot profile dot PK, or no, it'd be notification from user dot profile dot PK. Since we're saving the user object on the actual notification, we can grab the from user, which is who sent the notification, and get their profile. And so what we're doing here is we're going to the user that followed this user. We're going to their profile. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and save that now and try this out. Reload the page, and it looks like we're getting an error here for our follow notification URL pattern. It looks like we're not getting, maybe I messed up my parameter there. Let's check that again. Oh, so I bet this issue right here will be because this user right here doesn't have a profile. So let's go to user profiles. Yeah, well, we didn't set that one up before we added the automatic profile creation when they sign up. Let's go and just create them a profile real quick, so that will work. So we'll save that, come back here, reload the page. It looks like we have the same issue for more of them. So let's go ahead and just create all the profiles for all the users we haven't made one for yet. I think this is the last one. Oh, no, maybe it's this one. There we go. I think that might be it. Let's go and just try this again now. Oh, you know what the issue here is? I made a small mistake. So for our, let's go back to our Sublime text editor here. For our comment ones here, we are passing in the notification.post.pk, but that's empty on these. So anything with a comment, this is empty. But we still need to get the posts. And so we can do that by going kind of through this a different way. So back to our models here. Every comment here has a post on it. So we can go onto the comment and get that post off that comment. So inside of our show notifications.html here, on both of these comment ones, we'll do a comment.post to get the comment first, which is not empty, and then get the post that matches, that's connected to that comment. Let's come back here, reload the page, and there we go. And now we come up here, click on this, we get our drop down. We'll click on one of these. So it's giving us an error. Notification is not defined. Oh, did I forget to import that? I must have forgot to import that in my views. We haven't used it yet, so I probably forgot that. Let's go to our views real quick and import that. So up here at the top here, yeah, I didn't import notification right here. Let's go ahead and save that. Come back here, reload the page, and it takes us to that test2 example profile. Come back here, and you notice now it's 2 because we clicked on that and the user has seen that, so it goes away. Clicks on the next one, goes to a comment, and we can see there replied to a comment, and now it's 1. Click on this again, and now it goes down to 0 and takes us to that post. So it's all working very well. We're able to add notifications and go to them and see what they are from our navbar. So now we got that working. Instead of creating comments from our actual admin site, let's go ahead and create some comments automatically when certain things happen. So when someone replies or likes or does something else, let's go ahead and just add that automatically. So back inside of our text editor here, let's go back into we'll come down here, our views, and we'll add some logic to different parts of this. We need to add this every time they create a comment, or when they like a post, or when they follow a user. So the first place we need to put that in will be on the post detail view. So right here, this post method runs every time someone creates a comment. So at the bottom here, we also want to create a notification. So right before the context here, once we have everything else created, I'm going to set a variable equals notification, set this equal to notification.objects.create, and we'll pass a notification type. And in this case, this is a comment, so it's a type of 2. We put in our models here, where is it? Right down here. Like equals 1, 2 equals comment, 3 equals follow. So we'll set those codes based on what we're doing. In this case, we're commenting, so we'll put a 2. We set a from user of being whoever's logged in. So let's be a request.user. The to user will be the post.author. So whoever this author is, we want to send a notification to them that this user liked or this user commented on their post. And finally, we need to pass in the post, and just post equals post to do that. Save that, and let's try that real quick. So now we come back here. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the app here. I'm going to create a post first, just so I can see the notification. Looks like right here I had a notification. Let's go ahead and add a comment real quick. And I will see up here in the navbar, this changed to a 1. And this will show the comment here. If I went away off this page, came back here and clicked on this, it takes us to that post. And you can see our comment right here. So that's all working well. Let's go do the same thing now for the other types. So we come back to our text editor here. We come down here. We have a comment reply view. So whenever they reply on a comment, we also want to create another notification. So once again, this will be very similar. I'm sure to copy this just to save some time here. Go and copy this, come down here to our comment reply view, and right before we turn to the redirect route, we want to go in and create a comment. So right here, I'll paste that in there. This is a comment reply, so it's another comment. So our type is still 2. The from user will be the request.user. The to user will be the parent comment author. So this will be parent_comment author. So whoever wrote the comment that they're replying to. And then the post, there's no post because this is a comment. So change this to a comment. And the comment will be the new _ comment, which you'll see if you come back here. We create a new comment. And this is what we want to save in this notification because that's what their response is. Now with that done, let's go ahead and go down to our next one. So we keep scrolling down. Delete view, comment delete view, profile view, edit view. We have an add follower. Now will be another notification type. So down here, let's go ahead and paste this in here again. And this one will be a little different. This type will be 3 because it's a follow notification. The from user will be request.user again. The to user will be the profile.user. So this will be profile.user. And now instead of any post or comment, this will all be blank. So we can get rid of all of this. There'll be nothing in the post or comment for follow notifications. And that should be it for that one. We scroll down some more and you'll see we have an add like. This is another notification type. So we're going to add this down here where they actually add the like. So we don't want to put it here at the way bottom. We want to put it right below this line inside of this if statement. That way it only sends a notification if they actually end up adding a like to this post or comment. Or in this case, it's a post, I guess, because it's the add like view. So once again here, I'm going to go ahead and just paste in this notification. Its type will be 1 this time, since it's a like notification. The from user will be request.user again. The to user will be the post.author, just like this. And the post will be post. The rest of this will be exactly the same. Down here, comment like, once again, the same thing. Find the if statement where we actually add the comment, which is right here. Below this, paste in a notification. This will be a type of 1 again. The from user will be the request.user. The to user will be the comment.author this time. So this will be comment.author. And this, instead of a post, we'll put on a comment. And this will be equal to comment. There we go. And we keep scrolling down here. We have dislike, user search, list followers, post notification, follow notification. So that should be it there, I think. Let's go ahead and save that and let's try out different types of notifications. So we'll reload the page. First, let's go ahead and add a like. You'll see it added. And since I'm logging as admin and I'm liking my own posts, my notifications are still showing up. You could change that if you wanted to not let that happen. But in this case, I'm going to leave it how it is, especially since it's easy to test this way. So that worked well. We have a liked your comment. We hit the same thing on the post. You have a notification that says liked your post. And then finally, we can go ahead and click on these. That will take us to the posts. This will take us to the same post because this is the comment we liked. Now, finally, let's go ahead and log out. Let's create a new user and follow admin and see if that notification works as well. We'll create a user. Let's search for admin. So use our search bar. We'll type admin or just type add. We'll go to the admin profile. We'll click follow. Now let's go ahead and sign out. Let's sign back in with our admin profile. And there we go. Now we have one more notification. It says new test has started following you. We click on that. It takes us to the new test profile. So this is all working great. We have everything working. We can add notifications. It will show up here so the user can see the new notifications that are showing up. And it automatically creates them on the different events that we want it to create them on. There's one more step we need to do now, which is adding a way to remove a notification. So I jump into a post, I hit like, and it creates a notification. There's this X button over here, but right now it doesn't do anything. We need to add some JavaScript to make this work. So the first step will be to add another view. So let's go back into our text editor here. Let's go to our views.py. At the bottom here, we'll create a new view. This one will be a class of remove notification. Pass in our view, and this will have a delete method because we're going to use a delete request to send to this view to make this all work. Put self request notification underscore pk star args star quargs. We'll set notification equals, and in caps here, notification dot objects dot get, and we'll pass in pk equals notification pk. Now, what we want to do here is, once again, we want to set it to has been seen. So we'll do notification user underscore has seen equals true. And then notification dot save. And another thing I guess I should mention real quick before I go any further. Up here, you'll see when we created notifications, we didn't put a save anywhere. And that's because this .create method does that automatically for us. So in case you're wondering, we didn't need a save method here because this handles it for us in one line. But in these other cases where we're just setting a value like this, a property on it, we have to call the save notification to actually save it. Okay, and now with that done, the last thing we're gonna do is just redirect somewhere to send not redirect, but send an HTTP response so we know that everything worked fine. And what we send here doesn't really matter. At the top here, I'm gonna import HTTP response. And I'm going to send whatever. So I'll just send down here, I'll just type HTTP response. I'll just send some text, doesn't matter what it is. I'll say success, and we'll pass a content type equaling text/plain. And this doesn't really matter because we will send, we'll handle the redirect in our JavaScript later on anyway. So what we do here on this last line doesn't really matter. Go ahead and save that. And now let's go ahead and add one more URL pattern for this. So inside of our urls.py, we'll create one more. First, actually, we'll import that view. So up here at the top, we'll import remove notification. And down here, we'll create a path. This will be notification / int notification pk. Actually, we'll put /delete /notification pk. And this will be, we'll use our remove notification .as_view, since it's a class-based view, and we'll do name equals notification -delete. There we go. Let's go ahead and make sure we have our commas here at the end of the lines. We do. We'll add one more here, and we'll save that. And so now we can click on that button and we make it do something, but we don't want to just put a link to this URL. We want to go to JavaScript, send a delete request to this URL, and then redirect us to wherever that we're going to next, which will be wherever that's linked to. And so to do this, we'll add some JavaScript. So we'll come into our social.js and we'll add some more functions here. This first one here comes from Django themselves. Yes, so right here you'll see Ajax, and down here you'll see a function, get cookie, and that will get the CSRF token itself. So we want to use this function right here. So first I'm going to grab everything but this last line. Grab this, copy this, and put it inside of our JavaScript. So come here, and below this function here, we will paste that. And now we can go ahead and create another function. And we'll call this, let's call it just remove notification. I'm going to pass in two things here, a remove notification URL, and I'm going to pass in a redirect URL. So we want to get the actual notification URL and then the actual place to go next. And so this will be our view that we created. This will link to the view we created, and this will be wherever the actual notification itself is linked to, the post or comment or profile. Okay, and now let's go ahead inside this function. First, we need to add a line to get this. And so you look back in that line there, we have one line here we didn't grab. Let's grab that one now. Let's copy it and come back into our text editor, and we'll paste it right there. Now below that, we can add some JavaScript to make this request. So first we'll say var we'll say let XML HTTP equal new XML HTTP request. It's be capital R request. Next, we'll go ahead and actually set the logic for what happens when we successfully send this request. So do XML HTTP dot on ready state change equals function, and this function will have an if statement that checks for the ready state being done. So XML HTTP dot ready state equals XML HTTP request dot done. Now, if it is done, we want to check the status. If the status is 200, then we know everything worked well, and we can go ahead and redirect. So do an if XML HTTP dot status equals 200. Then we can go ahead and redirect. So I'll do window dot location dot replace, and we pass in a redirect URL. And this window location at the place will replace the current screen with this new one. And so then we'll go back they won't be able to use the back button to get back, but also prevents us from having a bunch of back button presses to get back to where they were before, or some other issue there. So there we go. So that's all we need to put in there for that to work. If it's not a 200 response, we want to go ahead and just show that there was an error. So I'll do an else statement, and I'll do an alert and say there was an error. And I'm going to put some semicolons there. And now finally, at the end of all of this function right here, this nested function here, let's go ahead and do an XML http.open to actually create the request. And we'll pass in delete as the request type. That's what our view has, is a delete request. Pass in remove notification URL. That's where you want to go, and pass in true. Next, we'll do an XML http.set request header. And this header will be our token that we created. So up here, we grab this token, but we actually need to use it now. So inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and pass in quotes x-CSRF token, and then CSRF token, which is this variable right here. Okay, and with all that done, we can go ahead and do XML http.send, and then put our semicolons and these lines, and that should be it. That should actually send this request, and then it hopefully will redirect us to wherever we went before. So now back inside of our show notifications.html, we need to add an on click here to handle running that function. So what we'll do here is in the span here, we have a class, and after this class, we'll go ahead and add on click. Be on click equals, and in quotes here, we want to go ahead and run that remove notification function. So we'll type remove notification, and in quotes here, we need to pass in a few things, or in parentheses here, we need to pass in some things. But since we already use our double quotes here, we need to use our single quotes for the actual Django URL here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and above the tab key, there's the backticks. I'm going to use that key here. And then inside here, we'll go ahead and put our Django URL. Type URL and put our single quotes, notification dash delete. And then now we need to pass in our two different things to this URL to make it work. So first we need to pass in is the notification PK. So we'll type notification.pk, and that's actually the only thing we need to pass in here. So we pass in that in, and we'll go ahead and close off that backtick there, and we'll put a comma and put two more backticks. And next, you'll look at our function here. We want to redirect somewhere, and in this case, we want to redirect back to where we were before. And so to do this, we can pass in just the current path and just go back to that same path. And that will handle going back to where we were before, because when we hit the X, we don't want to go anywhere. We just want to stay where we're at. So inside these two curly braces here, I can type request.path. That's a variable that's in the request. That's just the current path. And that is it for this. And these all should be exactly the same. There's no real difference to how these are set up. So I can go ahead and just copy this whole on click here and just paste it for each of these span tags. So once more here, just to review this, what we're doing, we're passing in our notification URL itself. Use that Django URL, the delete notification delete URL that goes in here, and this redirect is where we're currently at. So when we hit the X, we don't go anywhere. We just come back to the same page after it finishes. We go ahead, get the token, we create a request, we set the success to redirect us to the redirect URL. If there's an error, we'll show just an alert, just a little box that shows that there's an issue. Once we have all that done, we can go and create the delete request, passing in the remove notification URL, because that's where we're trying to go. We can set the header to be our CSRF token. That's required, otherwise Django will give us an error. And then finally, we can send the request. Hopefully that all makes sense. Let's come back to our site here. Let's reload this page. And it looks like we're getting one issue here. Notification delete. Did I call it something else? No. Oh, I forgot to put the closing greater than character there. Go ahead and save that. Come back here, reload the page, and there we go. So now we have a notification here right now. We hit the X, it gives us an error. So let's see what that error is. In our console here, let's go to mobile so we can see it. What is our error? So we can go to our network tab, go to the response, and see what this says. So it looks like our remove notification didn't return an HTTP response. Oh, you know what? I bet I forgot to put the return keyword in front of it. That's exactly what I did here. So on this line here, I didn't return anything. This is why we need to return something, otherwise it'll give us an error. But I forgot to type return in front of this. And we'll save that. Now let's go ahead and try this again. Let's go and close out all this. Hit OK. Refresh the page. Let's add a notification real quick. There we go. Hit the X. And there we go. It just goes away. And now it's no longer in our notification list here. We can click on a post here. Let's just add a comment here. Submit. We have a notification. We hit the X. It just goes away. So that's all working really well. Now we have notifications set up for everything now, and it's all working pretty well. And that is where we're going to stop today. We have all this working. It was kind of complicated, and this is a very good stopping point for it now. We'll come back later, and there's a few more things we'll probably add to this before we end this project. But now we're getting a lot of different features in here that was suggested to me before I ended this. So thank you for those suggestions. If you have any more, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just make a couple more videos, and we'll move on to a new project next. But the code will be in the description below, both the starting and ending code. I'll put links to these 2 different links up here in there as well, in case you want to read up on those. And there also will be the link to the written tutorial. But that's really it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.